Hey everybody, Rob on the road here with 701X. We're in Kearney, Nebraska, and we're visiting with Ronette Bush of NCC The Classic. How are you today, Ronette?
Great, Rob. Thanks for coming up and coming to Kearney. And boy, this weather's sure been beautiful,
It has
hasn't it?
been wonderful, and it's always a treat to come to Kearney unless it's snowing and the wind's blowing.
And that's typically when we start talking about the classic, and of
Hmm.
course, the classic traditional event that'll be coming up in February, everybody thinks of snow, ice, wind,
Hmm.
bad weather.
We've had it and we've not had it, so
Ye-
we're hoping for a good one this year.
Well, that's for sure. And we've all been joking about if there's ever a time to have drought, it's definitely like now until 1st April. And then if it would just go to raining, wouldn't we all be smiling?
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? So, Ronette, tell us a little bit about what your position is with the Classic and kind of how long you've been at that, because this isn't just a new deal.
No, and anymore I chuckle and say I'm really going to date myself because the classic started back in 1991,
Mhm.
and I was actually in college. They asked me to volunteer the very first year of the classic. They knew that I grew up showing cattle, came from a feedlot cow calf operation, and so volunteered the first year. By the time the event was over, they had offered me an assistant manager position. And so basically, I've been with them since the start.
Wow.
I've been the general manager for the last 28 years,
Wow.
and it's fun though.
It is fun.
Mm.
The things you do with not only the older kids, but the younger kids and even the adults, some of the educational opportunities you provide and the things they get to see at the basically three different events of the year, correct?
Yeah, and the classic when it first started, it was just that traditional event in February, and it was designed. Think back to 34 years ago, how different the beef industry
Hmm.
was. I mean, technology like we're going to talk about today wasn't even in play. And so the dynamics of the world and the beef industry and agriculture have changed so much, but it's exciting,
Hmm.
and kind of the saying of that I don't ever feel like I'm really working because I love my job.
Right.
I've grown up in it, and it's exciting to come up with opportunities truly for cattlemen of all ages. And
Hmm.
that's really what the classics built upon. And moving from that one event that used to happen in February to now three events that we hold annually. We'll have our traditional event coming up here in February 15th through the 23rd.
Hmm.
Then in August, we will have our pop-up event. And you've heard me say many a times that I'm just enough of a rebel that, when COVID hit and they shut down all the county fairs, and I
Yep.
went to the classic board and I said, guys, we cannot let these boys and girls not have somewhere to show their steers and heifers they bought. And so pitched a big circus tent outside, and it was so much fun that year. We are going to celebrate our fifth annual this fall,
Wow.
August, and so keep doing that. Then we expanded into our fall event, and this year it was really exciting to see it's really starting to come together. The goal for that and
Hmm.
bringing the educational platform for kids to
Hmm.
the forefront, having time to do contests and different things that we don't have time for in February. And you're going to see us probably build on some open shows and some of those aspects. So kind of hold on. Things are moving around and
Hmm.
figuring out how to expand that, but yet coming back to what the classic's all about, and it's truly the cattlemen. And
Hmm.
so, it's an honor to work with all breed associations.
Hmm.
And really, we're working on about several families that they've got four generations now
Wow.
that have been a part of the
That's
classic.
impressive.
So that's kind of fun, but yet, like I say, it kind of puts me in a dating position.
Well, it doesn't seem like 91 was that long ago, but it really has been a minute. And just like you, I mean, I kind of have the same philosophy. I don't ever feel like I work at all just because of the people in the industry that you get to be in contact with and you get to work with and what we're doing for the industry, where
Yep.
technology is taking it, um, and trying to solve some of those problems and some of those issues that we're faced with right now, with lack of help, lack of young people to take over, and how can we do those things and keep a productive, safe affordable food supply, and I think technology plays a pretty large part in that.
It does. It's huge. And, that is a statement that I hear every day, and I'm sure you do too, is there's not the manpower. They don't have time to leave home much anymore. And if it is, it better be worth their time to
Hmm.
go off the place to do it. And really everybody is learning and trying to figure out how to do more with less.
Hmm.
And I think that's a tagline I've seen and read when
Hmm.
I'm educating myself about 701X. And, I guess that is a real key thing, and really, why the Classic is very honored to be working with you guys and helping deliver this message, because you do have a tool that, and I joked with you earlier this summer of whether it's monitoring those tanks, monitoring those fences, figuring out is that bull still in the pasture or not. And that is just a small tip of the iceberg
Yep.
of things that you can help with. And, I think it was pretty exciting. I listened to you give a speech in November to some young boys and girls, and one young man caught on right away of, hey, how can you help me with breeding season? And
Hmm.
so it's, I guess, some really key things that if we can get someone's time to help educate and show them what your tools can do for them.
So think about this summer and fast forward to now. We now have estrus detection. Calving will be out here shortly, or hopefully by the end of this month or the 1st of January. And then soon to follow after that, satellite capability. So it just moves at the speed of light, which when you're in that realm, you think it's not fast enough. But if you stop and think about it, holy cow, what's going on here? It's just changing so quickly. Um, and it seems like the apprehension to use technology has changed quite a bit. In the beginning, it was just like, oh no, we don't want any part of that. Producers were just scared to death of it. But I think now it's been around long enough and they've seen it work in the ag side that they're finally deciding, well, it's here, it's going to stay, so maybe we better figure out how to use this. And that's a pleasant change because before you were met with such resistance, and now it's okay, we're curious. So, what will the next step be?
Absolutely. And well, let's just relate it to whether you've come off of fall calving or, lots of guys are getting ready to go into the
Hmm.
heart of calving season. And we joke, the little calving books are going to
Hmm.
become antiques. And because, it's not just the 25-year-old, it's those 50-year-olds now that we got these phones that are in our pockets and on us all the time, and they're making the notes in their phone. They're
Hmm.
keeping their notes there, and they know that's with them all the time. They don't have to worry about where that calving book is. And so, really, I think if we can help you communicate one step further to those guys of, what, this information can be all right there in the app on the phone,
Hmm.
and the data that you can help them with, and um, more accuracy in all their records, I think is going to be huge.
I'd like to say more guys have worse a calving book than they have their phone, but I'm sure it's happened.
Well, or, like I say, that it's not with you.
Right.
It's, oh, that's back in, the ATV, or
Yep.
that's on the four-wheeler in the
Yep.
calving box and those things. And, um, it was pretty exciting. You and I were visiting with a young family, and the dad, I'd say he was in his 50s, and the young man was probably in his early 30s. And, when you and I heard them talking at the fall deal, and the dad saying, yeah, that calving book, I get a hard time from these next guys. And,
Hmm.
so many generations are working together on the
Yep.
ranch today and in the calving operations.
Hmm.
And really, most of the people that are working there is family. And so you've got to figure out, all right, how can we streamline all of this data and this information?
Right. Keep everybody on the same page and tracking. And well, we hope that we've come up with a cure for that. I think our software is second to none in the livestock industry as far as livestock software goes, and that's kind of the well, it's not the bright shiny issue or the object over here. It's really the thing that ties everything together and makes it all work, and can have just as much value as the tags and other things. So that's good. I'm glad to see that, and I'm glad to see people finally um, being less resistant to that and figuring out that it's a
Well,
tool.
absolutely. And they want to learn,
Sure.
and we talk about the longevity of the classic and, going to celebrate our 34th annual event. And, really, I think, part of, as I've learned more about 701X, it's really exciting and intriguing to me that, your company is so strong based in the beef industry and, the passion that your owners and they're right there and hands on and you're here to stick around.
Yep.
When you guys have merged and now have digital beef as far as part of your platforms. And that's one thing that, as a show manager, it tells me, wow, where you're integrated with so many breed associations, you're not going anywhere
Nope.
either.
Nope. And that's the whole goal, is to try to improve that and make it better for the producers and the association to keep track of those records and those breeding records and EPDs, and do something with that data stream that's continually coming in to keep it organized so it is useful tool for those guys. So that's been a big help here in the last few months. Trust me, it's a challenge, but it's been a very big help.
Well, and when you talk about that now with the satellite use, I mean, that's huge. Think about when you're traveling all over, whether it's, in Kansas or you get out in the sandhills in Nebraska and you don't have cell service. So a lot of these guys would be like, well, cell service is so bad. You're really working to even fight that battle.
Sure. And the satellite will be a great tool to have, and it'll be it'll be somewhat limited because you can't push as much data through satellite as you can cellular. So we'll have both options available. If you have cellular signal, by all means go ahead and use it. But if you have to have satellite, pick what's really important to you, because that's the amount of data that it'll handle. So there'll be a few hurdles to get over there, but just like everything else, I think as time goes, it'll get better as well. So pretty excited about that one.
Well, and myself and the rest of the classic team, we're really excited to, build a relationship with 701X and be able to help communicate and deliver information to cattlemen of all ages. And we talk about the classic events and, the amount of FFA youth that are
Mm-hmm.
involved. And the one things that I always joke about is don't discount the information that the youth can soak up, because they're probably the ones going home saying, Dad and Grandpa, we need to take a look at this and how
Mm-hmm.
much easier and more effective we can be and efficient with everything we're doing.
That's exactly right, and I think their voice is being heard more because they're looking for something. I
Yeah.
mean, they know the challenge.
Well, and it's the row crop guys we got tractors that are going to drive
Mm-hmm.
themselves. And so, for the beef and the cowman to look at, all right, what technology is really going to help make our lives easier, make this information streamline, from A to Z so much better and more efficiently.
And make them more profitable
Yes.
just by being able to do more things with less. So
Well, and it's an exciting time to be in the beef business.
it really is.
I sat at the sale barn on Wednesday just for a little bit. I snuck out, and it's kind of crazy. We feed cattle out too, and you kind of wonder how this is all going to balance out. And um, like you say, I think being able to be more efficiently and doing more with less is really key.
Sure. Well, inputs aren't getting any better, and thankfully the cattle market is where it should be to offset some of that.
Oh, well, absolutely. And that's a huge thing of, the misconception of someone will say, oh gosh, your calf check was really high. Well, we all know it needed to be that high just to pay a few of the bills.
For the 3 years prior that it
Yes.
wasn't. Yeah, for sure. Well, no doubt it is a very exciting time to be in the livestock and the beef industry, and it's very exciting to work with people who are providing programs and information like the classic to literally, like you say, cattlemen of all ages. It's been fun to participate in that, and we look forward to doing more of that down the road.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to come to Kearney, and hopefully we'll see you February 15th through the 23rd right back here in Kearney.
You are welcome, and yes, we will be here. Couldn't imagine not. And thank you for your time. And we want to take the opportunity to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Catch you down the trail.